Hey, I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Chris.
This is Mike and Chris Reloaded.
Today we're going to go in a little bit different direction. We're going to talk about, I guess, man-made disasters, or kind of like the self-destruction of the world, I guess you might call it.
Apocalypse!
That too. Or like the song said, the end of the world.
That's right.
Not necessarily the end of the world per se, but things that could lead to the end of the world, I guess you can say.
Yeah, most of the things that I looked into, it's not going to be the complete end of the world. No. I mean, we're talking billions of people gone, but there's going to be a couple of lucky stragglers like me and Chris.
What's the old proverb? Chance favors the prepared man.
That's right.
The first thing I'd like to kind of get into is something basically, you're going into the 21st century and everything else we're into, but computers. I mean, this is a computer age. Everything deals with computers. I mean, your phones, your laptops, this equipment we're using, cars, everything. And with computers comes intelligence.
Yeah, and like the crazy thing is they're actually teaching computers how to feel emotion, how to feel pain.
Which is, if anyone's ever watched Terminator, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, that's not a cool idea.
That's not a good idea. Artificial intelligence, I mean, free-thinking computers that basically, I mean, they think for themselves, solve problems, stuff like that. And if you get something, I mean, in anything that starts free thinking, it becomes, basically takes on a mind of its own, has a will of its own, and that could lead to bad things.
Yeah, even Stephen Hawkins, warns us against the possible AI overtake of the world, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he started a foundation to help with Google, I think, or Google started it by themselves. I'm not 100% sure, but there is a company out there that is preparing for a kill switch for AI intelligence right now.
Oh yeah, just have your aluminum foil hats ready and your EMPs, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's scary because computers control probably 90% of the world's nuclear arsenal.
Well, yeah. And like I said, we may see like movies, like I said, like Terminator, stuff like that are fictional that, talk about how the computers took over, launched nuclear strikes, wiped out the world, and they built their robots, androids, and stuff like that. But, I mean, like you said, the computers control all the nuclear, the bombs and everything else. Computers are guidance systems. Computers control Navy fleets. Computers control airplanes. I mean, everything out there has a computer in it.
Yeah, and they're saying by the year 2100 that computers are gonna take over thinking processes at factories for employees.
Yeah.
They're gonna do all the thinking and the designing.
I mean, with computers also too, you think about it, it not only runs the risk of, as far as like with AI stuff, runs the risk of taking over things or whatever, but you already got stuff that are already taking over people's positions and jobs and stuff now.
Yeah.
People are becoming obsolete because they can build a machine that can build something that a person could build that take a person 2 days, where a machine might take a half a day to build it. Right.
I mean, the simplest example for that is you just go into your local Walmart and look at your self-checkout lanes.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff. I mean, those are jobs out the window. They got a computer doing it now.
You got 6 self-checkouts. That's 6 people gone right there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Look at car manufacturers. They got machines that put them together. They basically got a guy standing over them, making sure it's, put together right or whatever.
Yeah, but those are people that have lost jobs because of that.
Yeah.
And if we keep making them have feelings and think, I mean, rationally, they're going to be like, okay, what do we really need humans for?
Yeah. No, I'm not. Don't get me confused. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against computers. I think computers are a great thing as far as they spread information. It's easy to look up stuff. Without computers, we wouldn't find half the stuff for our podcasts. So
Yeah.
But there's got to be a certain limit where we want to go, I think, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to be all, paranoid about everything. But I know Kent, we were talking about that the other day, Osimo, he's terrified to death of that thing. And that one come out, what, about 10, 15 years ago?
Did you ever find out it was Honda,
I
right?
believe it was Honda that did it,
Honda, yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty scary stuff. I'm a tech guy. I spend most of my day on social media or some form of computer at all times. That's my day. And it's sad, if you stop and think about it.
Even so now, like I'm going to school, my focus on school was cyber crimes and security. So, obviously I'm going to get into that field where, I'm kind of preparing myself for the future a little bit because I know that's where everything's going to be.
Right.
But hopefully it'll still be there and I won't be, one of the ones in shackles somewhere. But
somebody will write a computer program that'll do your job for you.
Probably.
It's sad.
It is, but we that's the thing nowadays. It's like the old 1960s, the space race. People were in a hurry trying to get to outer space or whatever. Now it's people are in a hurry trying to build the bigger, better machine or the bigger, better processor or the bigger, better whatever.
Right.
So
that leads us into your next one that you wanted to talk about, nanotech technology.
Yeah, which if people don't know what really nanotechnologies is, it's just basically micro machines, microorganisms.
Yeah, like sizes of atoms we're talking.
Yeah, but they're actually machines that'll go in, if programmed, will go in, which is beneficial, don't get me wrong, because you get these things that can go in, like if you got waste or something in water, it can go in to destroy that stuff. You can go get rid of pollution. It helps bring about clean water, better climate, things of that nature. However, again, if it goes wrong, if programmed wrong, if whatever, you can do complete opposite.
Right, yeah, I was telling you about the TV show Revolution, if nobody's ever watched that.
Yeah, remember you told me about that.
Yeah, where they were trying to design nanotechnology to help with the more efficient power source and to fix pollution problems, and then somebody coded it wrong and released them, and it shut the whole power grids down for the entire world.
And the thing about nanotechnology, if you get something like that that's so microscopic that gets into a person or anything like that, if all that thing has to do is attach it to your nerve center, your brain, whatever, and yes, theoretically it could control you. It could tell you what to do. It could do whatever, because you got all your brain is a nerve center that sends signals to your body to tell you to do things. And now here you got these tiny little microbes in there intercepting those little nerve centers. Then someone else is controlling you, telling you what to do. So theoretically, yeah, it could happen.
Yeah, we probably won't see it in our lifetime, but I'm sure it'll happen. I hope not too. I mean, it is. All this stuff is that if you sit down and you think about it, it's pretty freaky shit.
Yeah, it's different. I know, like I said, we see a lot of stuff in movies and everything else, but there's things out there. Read some articles, look up some stuff. There's things out there that are happening now.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that people don't talk about. A lot of people conspiracy theories about things.
Which will be another show, eventually.
Eventually. But yeah, definitely check some stuff out. I mean, it's at the very least, it's an interesting read on some things. So, but with nanotechnology, and you got artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, another thing too you throw in the factor there is synthetic biology.
Yeah.
We have, in this world that we live in, I mean, we have all kinds of diseases and problems and everything that happens. Sometimes there's stuff that we can't even explain. There's no cure for. We don't know what happened is degenerative diseases, anything like that. So people try to create cures for whatever else, anything like that. But also people try to create basically superorganisms that you put on a plant that'll eat the little fungus or something that kills a plant that tries to help stuff like that. You put in a human that'll attack certain, whatever cancer cells or degenerative cells or something in a human that tries to help them, stuff like that. I mean, again, it's the double-edged sword, though. You got someone that develops something like this, but then it can turn around and harm a person too if it gets in the wrong hands.
Yeah, I think I was telling you that they just now outlawed antibacterial soap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're saying that the antibacterial soap was causing super germs and super viruses because it's making the viruses and germs immune to ways that we normally kill it. So they're becoming stronger, and we're creating more disease than we're actually helping. I mean, we're getting crazy with hand sanitizer and all that stuff.
Well, it's like we were talking about the Ebola the other day.
Mm-hmm.
There hadn't been cases of Ebola for years and years. I mean, tens of years. All of a sudden, boom, there's an outbreak. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, lo and behold, hey, we fixed it, and then you don't hear nothing from it ever since.
Right. That's like H1N1.
Yeah, I was going to say the H1N1. Again,
swine flu, man.
Boom. Out of nowhere, it's affecting people everywhere. All of a sudden, haven't heard a word out of it.
And see, the H1N1, they say we created that virus by forcing pigs to be too close together. And it happened in, villages where they didn't have proper hand cleaning and fresh running water, and that's where the outbreak started from. And it could have been as bad as the Spanish flu, which was in 1918, I think.
It was way back when.
But that killed 20 to 50 million people. That was without jets and planes.
I think it was a little further back than 1918, but yeah.
No, I think it was 1918.
No, 1918 was during the First World War.
Yeah, I think it was 1918.
I think you're a little bit further back.
Oh, I got Google right here.
You going to the Google machine?
Go into the Google machine, live on the air. When was the Spanish flu? Bear with us.
1918.
Oh, I score!
The influenza pandemic of 1919 killed more people than the Great War.
Yeah. Oh, I'm good.
That's good. You're correct.
I won't rub that in or nothing.
No, that's all right.
They're saying within the next 50 years, there's going to be a pandemic that's going to kill at least 1 billion people. I mean, this is scientific research done. It's just, we're creating it. Something's going to get loose. Something's going to kill us, and it's going to be bad.
Yeah. What were you telling me the other day about the person that had the container that was, they had to seal everything down for an empty?
Oh, yeah. The CDC in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have vacuum chambers, airtight rooms, and they had a leak. But I was leading that into my zombie theory here.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, no, they did have a leak right around 2012. But they said there was absolutely nothing in the room. But why would you airtight a room and vacuum seal it and make sure that it was pressurized and if there was nothing in there? It just don't make sense.
No, it doesn't. But that's, the government for you, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. That was in Atlanta. So that's close to home.
Which is weird because isn't that where The Walking Dead takes place?
Yes, it is where The Walking Dead takes place. It was also weird because that's the same time that they were blaming the cannibalism things that happened on bath salts.
That is kind of weird.
So I mean that's pretty odd. If anybody don't know anything about that, in 2012, a man chews another man's face off. Was it in Miami?
Yeah, it was down South Florida.
Yeah, it was in Miami, and they shot him like a couple times too, from what I understand, and he just kept going.
Yeah.
And it happened again here recently. I don't remember the exact specific. I think it was like Monday last week or the Monday before, where a guy was eating dinner with his family at like Outback or some not fancy, but some steakhouse. somewhere, and he got pissed at how long the food was taking. He left, and like within the hour, he was in some guy's garage chewing his face off. Stabbed both people, and he was eating them, and he was shot a couple times before they had to finally tackle him to get him off the person.
I see your point you're going with that, but again, the zombies are an undead thing, where a cannibal just eats, the same flesh of the same species.
Yes, but there are 5 viruses that currently happen that mimic zombie-like symptoms.
Zombie-like symptoms, but
yes.
You are still alive, technically.
Yeah, technically. I mean, you have sleeping sickness, which is transferred by the tsetse fly in Africa, and it actually rots away your flesh.
Yes.
While you're still alive. I mean, you can combine that with rabies, which makes you super aggressive and makes you want to eat human flesh or other flesh. I mean,
but again, still alive.
Well, they have what is it? Narcosis, which is death. And it's live cells. It kills everything in your body except for your brain and your heart.
Which was.
But zombies have brain function. Their only one function
which
is
is
to
basically
feed.
what early leprosy was.
Yeah, and that's where they're saying that zombies came from. At least what the research I did was that's where they coined the term zombie, was during the leprosy outbreaks.
Well, the official definition of a zombie is a corpse said to be revived by witchcraft, especially in certain African and Caribbean religions. So that's the official definition of it. So hence the word a corpse being dead. But again, there's a lot of symptoms or similar symptoms that make it appear that way. But
right.
In the same aspect, it's not like, some kind of Romero flick, people are coming out of the ground or whatnot.
Was it an ant? There is an ant that is zombie. It goes into I think it's an ant. It goes into a cocoon and eats itself alive, but its brain, it's a virus that the ant carries. And I forget what the name of it is.
Maybe that guy got bit by the ant that does eat that guy's face.
Yeah. It's possible, I'm telling you.
I'm saying it's not possible, but realistically, probably not.
First place I'm going is Walmart to get guns.
I already own some, so I'm all right.
Well, my brother's got my guns. My wife won't let me have them in the house, but if they're zombies, I'm getting guns.
I'm not doubting it, but I'm not really accepting it at the same time. I'm kind of one of the people where I believe in a lot of different things. I believe that there's other life out there. I think we're naive to think that we're just the only planet on this entire existence that has life. And I believe that there's things out there you can't explain, supernatural or otherwise. But I guess I'm kind of one of those have to see it to believe it type things, and I really don't want to see it. What are you but at the same time, I have to kind of see it to believe it. But
what are you asking for?
And now, if I see a guy just like eating someone's face off or something, I'm going to shoot first and ask questions later.
I'm going to run.
And then, I'm going to, and I'm not going to be like the cops. I'm not going to be center mass. I'm aiming for the head. You never know. And you don't with all the shows like the, Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, movies that come out, everything else. You don't never know. Walking Dead is about the most realistic thing I've ever seen when it comes to the stuff. I mean, it's people dealing with real life stuff, and I don't know. Honest God, can't tell you how I would react if something like that ever happened.
I would hope I wouldn't die. That's all I hope for.
Hope
not
none
to
of my
die.
friends would die or family or whatever, but you don't know how it's going to be.
Yes, I'm going to go to the Lecom Dental School here in town.
Because it's only got place.
It's got only one entrance, and it's a big mass hallway. I can seal it off, and we'll just live there.
There you go.
And we'll farm. Of course, I would die without my electronics, but that would take care of the AI taking over the world.
There you go.
Unless they got lonely without us and then decided to take us over afterwards.
Or the AI can say there's a threat and destroy everything anyway.
Yes, I could do that too.
Try to eliminate the threat, the zombie threat.
Yep.
So then we're screwed both ways.
Yeah. Oh man. So what do you got next?
Going into that, you got next thing I want to kind of talk about is basically the climate change, man. You go into stuff. I was reading a little article the other day, and they talk about temperatures actually raise on average 4 to 6 degrees Celsius per year, globally, on average. A lot of stuff is due to deforestation, and believe me, I'm not some kind of tree hugger or nothing else. I mean, I like my paper that I write on or whatever, but the problem we're having is you got deforestation and then you got overpopulation, which too much carbon dioxide and not enough oxygen. You're eating away the ozone layer. You're not replenishing anything on Earth. You're damaging the ecosystem. You're killing species out there. You're doing all kinds of stuff. And things like that, when you start seeing this stuff, getting the atmosphere destroyed, getting the, no more trees, because there's one thing, you can build cars, you can have babies, you can build buildings, you can do everything but the only thing you can't build is land.
Well, you want to hear some interesting fact here? Do you know where a majority of our oxygen comes from?
The rainforest.
No. 70% of the Earth's oxygen comes from sea plants. Plants in the ocean that we're currently destroying with oil spills and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I just read that fact. I think it was under that Bill Nye thing I sent you.
Oh yeah.
That you didn't watch.
No, I didn't. But again, like you said there, and all this basically, it's a chain reaction of things. And the first people are going to affect it. You're going to see all these little third world countries, these poor countries that can't afford a lot of things, a lot of housing or food or crops and stuff like that. They're going to get affected first.
Yeah, because eventually, America, which we're the feeder of the world, we're gonna run out of food production for our own selves, so we're not going to be able to export as much food to these third world countries. I mean, Russia gets majority part of their food from us too. So
yeah, and you see stuff like that, and then you're going to see just basically civilizations die off, and famine, and then the people that don't die off or starve to death. Then you're going to start seeing mass migration, which if anyone's ever been paying attention to the news, I don't know if you've already seen it already. Mm-hmm. You got people from Syria coming to other countries. You got people from, even Mexico coming to the country. You got all kinds of stuff. Then when you lead people who are mass migrating to other countries, trying to, seek a better life or seek a better, position or whatever, then you're overpopulating again. Then there's not enough food, and there's not enough housing, there's not enough, and then you start getting into what we were talking about earlier. You're starting to get into disease and everything else. So it's a chain reaction, man. It's a domino effect. One thing leads to another.
But now, see, MIT says that the Earth's just in its natural stage of heating up. That the Earth goes through a natural cycle. If you believe them, that it goes through a natural cycle of heating and cooling, which once this cycle completes, will turn in the next cycle will be an ice age.
Yeah, and I agree with that. However, back when the early ice age happened, whatever, that supposedly, wiped out the dinosaurs and this and that, or caused everything to shift, the land shifts, everything else. The world didn't have 6 billion people on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It didn't have that many people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, back then you had plant life, you had, whatever, the dinosaurs and other creatures and everything else in the ecosystem, whatever. Sure, maybe something got extinct here and there, who knows? But again, there weren't 6 billion people.
No.
Now you got 6 billion people on the world, who are cutting down trees, building skyscrapers, making the bigger, better, whatever. And so that, MIT has a point as far as the Earth itself, but you can't factor in that human element.
No, I mean, right now it's a problem because right now, if you look at the glaciers right now from 2000 to 2006, they lost 36 to 60 cubic miles of glacier mass in the Arctic. That's a lot. And if people don't know a lot about glaciers aren't always just sitting in water. They're also on hilltops and mountain ranges and stuff like that.
That's where a lot of our water source comes from.
Yeah, fresh water is rushing into the ocean, causing dead zones and preventing sea life that used to be able to live there not to be able to live there anymore, which is creating algae blooms, which algae blooms are even more toxifying the ocean, causing more carbon buildup, which eventually is going to lead to a super cool down of the planet.
Yeah.
And I live in Florida. I moved to Florida for a reason. I'm from Wisconsin, okay? I don't want to be super cool. I want to be hot. I want to be swimming in December.
Trust me, if something like that ever comes again, you won't feel it too much.
No.
It won't last very long, trust me.
Yeah.
You'll be frozen to death before you can worry about it.
Well, we could do what they did in Futurama and drop a big cube of ice in the Arctic. Every so many years, just go to an asteroid, grab a big chunk of ice, and deliver it into the Arctic.
There you go.
They actually, what's his name? I forget the science guy or something. He's got a YouTube channel too. I forget your name, or I would give you a good plug. But if you ever watch it, he actually tested the theory to see if that was possible. And he says that you would need a chunk of ice. It was like the size of the Empire State Building or something like that. And it would weigh like 400 cubic tons.
I don't doubt it, man. I mean, glaciers out there, the ones that aren't attached to actual land masses, when you see a glacier out there that might be, say, I don't know, the size of a small mountain or something, that's just the tip of the glacier. That thing goes down for miles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of those things, that's just like the top of it. You don't know that thing's just down in the water somewhere. Can't even measure some of those things. It goes so far down.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you just see the top part of it for sure. I mean, the majority of the iceberg is under, or the glacier is underwater.
Yeah.
So.
But it's definitely, I mean, they make a lot of movies about 2012, what was the other one? The Day After Tomorrow.
Day After Tomorrow, yeah.
Stuff like that. And
I watch those.
Some of that stuff could happen. You don't never know. I know in 2012 you saw the volcanoes and stuff, and the earth splitting open, everything else, and you saw basically the land shift. And right now there's tectonic plates in the ocean that are shifting and everything else, causing tidal waves and tsunamis and everything else. So, I mean, and like you said, the earth it's a self-generating place. It's supposed to fix itself naturally, but again, when you talk about years and years ago, the earth didn't have 6 billion people on it.
No. And if you look over the course of our history, what has happened is life has been made, life has been wiped out. Life has been made, life has been wiped out. I mean, that's just over the course of our whole history. I mean, even if you're biblically believe, I don't want to go into that, but I mean, it's the same process. Life is created and life is eliminated.
I think I'll quote old Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park. Evolution will find a way.
Right. Exactly.
It will. And hopefully it won't be in my lifetime.
Yeah, because honestly, I'm not going to survive. I mean, let's say something happens to it. Let's say nanotechnology does take over, wipes out our whole power grid. I'm not going to survive in Florida. I'm so accustomed to air conditioning that I'm going to die of heat exhaustion in days.
He moved from Wisconsin just to move to Florida and be in the air conditioning.
And in a pool, and by the ocean. And outside during the winter when it's 70 degrees. That's nice.
Oh yeah.
It's better than 30, 40 below zero. Have you ever went outside someplace where it was so cold that your nose started to run and your boogers froze to your goatee?
I lived in northern Arizona. It got pretty cold up there. Yes.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
It got usually about 0 or about 10 below or so.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cold.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
No, it's not. It's fun to go play on the snow when you're a kid, though.
Yeah, it is. We used to jump off of roofs into snowbanks. Thank God they weren't ice.
That explains a lot.
I didn't go head first.
The next thing, you talk about all the people in the world. How about just a global system collapse? Economical, societal collapse.
Which almost happened to us recently.
Yes. Yeah. With we're trillions of dollars in debt in the United States alone.
Yeah. To China.
Yeah.
All they have to do is come calling for their money, and it would collapse our whole country.
Collect their mark.
Yeah.
And with economical unrest or civil unrest, I mean, it could lead to a collapse of law and order, a collapse of society as we know it. I mean, look what just happened in Italy when they tried to overthrow the general, whatever, tried to overthrow the governor or whoever it was of Italy.
Right.
I mean, just stuff like that. You get countries out there that are just so small and so nonchalant that people just don't realize that, these small little countries can impact anything bigger.
Right, and they're talking, there's a lot of people that talk that Obama, our great president, is going to declare martial law and force himself to have another term, which martial law would pretty much ruin this country. Everybody with a gun would be outside shooting people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's just what would happen.
Yeah, because, under the rules, the only thing that would not declare martial law is if the Congress vetoed him.
Right.
Which they could stop him and impeach him out of there, but you don't never know. But I don't see why
that's not going to happen.
I don't see why he would declare martial law on anything, because there ain't really nothing going on per se. I mean, there's stuff going on here and there, but
unless Hillary dies of pneumonia.
That's true.
I'm just kidding.
Trump 2016.
No.
Just kidding. Hillary 2016. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm penciling in Bender.
Yeah. Ash for president.
Ash for president.
Yeah. But yeah, with something like that, with economic failure or even society failure, it's so unpredictable. You don't know which way it'll go. You could get a country or a land that fails, get bailed out, and be okay. Or you can get a land that fails, just totally upends, everyone scatters, and then you're just this entire existence is gone.
Right.
And again, it's a domino effect. Things happen, and it's just one thing after another. Then you get countries that people don't even pay attention to, like, I don't know, Korea.
Yeah, North Korea.
Yeah. It's like, they're okay. They're not doing nothing. So they got a small little nuke.
Yeah, that's scary. I mean, which leads us to our next one would be the worst one, World War III, or a nuclear attack.
Yeah, this one actually is probably more realistic than anything we've talked about so far this evening.
Yeah, this I actually have wrong, because as of now, statement is incorrect. But August 9th, 1945 was the last nuclear detonation. North Korea just did that. Just outdid that. I mean, on another... Oh, no. This was the last destination on another country. Yeah. Sorry. So, they've been tested since then. I'm sorry. But, yeah, it's scary. They say right now, on average, there is a 10% chance every day there could be a nuclear attack somewhere in the world.
And again, I don't doubt it. And like I said, this one I think is more realistic and more scary than anything we've talked about this evening. Nuclear, although nuclear, there's worse bombs than a nuclear bomb as far as explosions, devastation-wise. But what you get from a nuclear explosion, you get fallout from it. You get radiation. You get excuse me. You get basically what's called a nuclear winter, where the cloud and everything, the ash, just cover the sky and block out the sun, dropping the temperatures down to below freezing. You get the radiation that if it's launched in the air, it emits EMP that'll wipe out everything. It'll also destroy the ozone layer, which will just pretty much fry us from the sun. So yeah,
it would cause cancer, birth defects.
Yeah, there's just so many things about that any type of nuclear, any type of nuclear weapon can do.
Let me ease your mind a little bit, though. They say that if there was a nuclear attack, even let's say the worst case scenario, nuclear war happened, all life on Earth would not cease to exist.
No, there would be, and again, this goes back to what I said, evolution will find a way. There would be people survive, and I realize that and everything else, and people will adapt. Just like as in viruses, over the years, the viruses that affected people back in the 1700s and 1800s don't nearly affect anyone nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Because people have grown either with medicine or immunities or evolution, or have developed certain antibodies towards things or whatever. And I get that, but you talk about in the future.
Right.
I'm talking about the here and now.
I can tell you, this is how real this is. There's been 18 incidents of weapons-grade plutonium and uranium stolen so far. 18 potential nuclear bombs in terrorists' hands right this moment.
Yeah.
And all it takes is them to put it in something and to blow it up. And the most likely would probably be what they call a dirty bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be their easiest way to do that. I mean, they could wipe out major populations just by attacking nuclear power plants on top of it. The radiation from the plutonium and the uranium combined with a nuclear power plant failure. I mean, Chernobyl. They still can't live there.
I'll say, just look at Chernobyl. I mean, that was what, 30 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And it's still, the ground is still, it's...
Yeah, they still have two-headed fish. No lie, either.
Yeah, it was literally, it was 30 years ago, actually, to this year. But, the ground, that's 30 years ago now, mind you. That's, how old were you, Mike, 36?
Yeah, I'm 37.
37?
Yeah.
You were 7 years old when that happened.
Yep.
And you still cannot live on, I mean, they were talking about people walking on the land, the ground literally sinks as they walk. And that was an actual power plant, though.
Right.
Okay, I get that. That's a power plant. But how many nuclear power plants are in this world?
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And they're called preemptive strikes for a reason, because they strike at the heart of whatever that powers things or does things like that. So, yeah, there's a lot of consequences when it comes to stuff like that. And again, I'm not a tree hugger. I'm not trying to say make peace, not war, or whatever. Make love, not war. I have my concealed weapons permit. I have guns. I try and keep myself protected for whatever reason. But if I know a bomb's coming on, coming right there, no gun in the world is going to help me. But
right.
And I don't mean to get so somber about it or even serious about it, but it is a real thing. It's a real possible thing. It's a real possible threat. And like I said, this one, out of anything we've talked about, is more realistic than anything.
Yeah, and we used to, when I was a kid, we used to make fun of the people who grew up during the 40s who had bomb shelters and all that stuff, fallout shelters. And now, it's not that stupid of an idea.
Not really.
I mean, something that you could survive a couple of years on some canned goods or something, that might be in our lifetime.
It just may very well be.
So, and then, I mean, that's all I have for for my topics of apocalyptical ends that are man-made anyways.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a lot more of natural ones out there. We'll get into that another show, but basically and kind of a final little thought. I just, just it's our world, it's our planet. It's our life, it's our thoughts, it's our whatever. So I say we just try and do the best we can.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, just, try to love one another, respect one another.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just getting past our September 11th reminder of probably the worst tragedy in American history, and one on American soil, I should say. I mean, well, no, I can't even say that, because didn't more people die during the Civil War?
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, I mean, these attacks are possible, so, I mean, try to understand other people, even if they're different than you. I mean, you still have to have some kind of mutual understanding to prevent these things from happening.
Yeah, and this leads into everything that's going on today in society and in the planet and just in this country. Whether it be just a shooting or even just, helping someone across the street, just, be respectful, be kind.
Yeah.
It's easy. And actually, I've told you I've been putting those little quotes on Facebook.
Yeah, I was trying to get you to do them on here. End in a quote.
I will end this in a quote right
here.
Well,
don't end it yet, because we got to tell them what we're doing next week.
Okay.
Yes, next week we're going to make things a little bit lighter.
A little bit.
And then celebrate the life of Gene Wilder.
Yeah, we're going to just talk a little bit about him, about what he was about and everything else, and some of the stuff he did, some of the things I didn't even know about till after he passed away. He was one of the best actors I think I've ever seen in this lifetime, my lifetime anyway.
For sure he was probably the funniest. Him and...
Oh yeah, he was hilarious.
I mean, Richard Pryor is pretty funny too, but...
Both of them together just had so much chemistry. But we'll talk about that next week. But don't forget to listen to us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up if you like us. If you have any questions about anything we've talked about, feel free to leave us a comment. Don't forget to like and share our Facebook page, Mike and Chris Reloaded.
Yeah, if you search Mike and Chris Reloaded, I'm telling you, we're the first thing that comes up. You don't have to look far. Just Mike space and space Chris space Reloaded space.
We've got this is going on our 13th or 14th podcast. We got several out there, things that might interest you. Feel free to check us out.
All right, I appreciate it. Now we'll let you end on Chris's quote for the day.
My quote for the day: "What you can do today can improve all your tomorrows." Ralph Marston.